Hello folks and welcome. For those who don't know me, my name is Gavin and I'm the minister for St Andrew's Church in Benton and for Westmoor Methodist Church and Cox Lodge Methodist Church. You may already be aware that because of the coronavirus pandemic, our churches are suspending worship services and physical meetings for the time being. So, while we're unable to meet face to face, I wanted to find as many ways as possible of communicating with the congregations I serve. And so this video is just one of a number of things that I hope to do over the coming months. The guidelines that we've received mean that our services on a Sunday, as well as our midweek activities, will not be able to take place for the foreseeable future. And that's going to be really hard, especially in the midst of testing times that our country's going through and that many people that we know are going through. We're really going to miss being able to meet together for worship and fellowship. Because the church is a family and we need each other. So we need to find as many ways as we can to keep in contact with each other so that we don't feel so isolated. And so that we can encourage one another in our worship and in living out our faith. Even if we can't do that face to face, we will still be active as the church, but in a very different way. Now, of course, this situation is new to me, so I ask for your patience as we work through uncharted territory. But to get us started, here's a few suggestions. Firstly, communication. I hope to put regular updates on the St Andrew's Church website, www.standrewsbenton.org.uk, and our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/St Andrews Benton. So please check these regularly and share information with those who are not online. And this is not just for the folks of St Andrews, but for the other churches I serve at Westmoor and at Cox Lodge, and anyone else who wants to link with us during this time. The information may be posted elsewhere, but those are the two places that I can guarantee will be updated regularly. If you have an email address and would like to receive information this way, then please let me know on gavin.hume@methodist.org.uk. I also hope to send something out by post to those who I do not have email addresses for. So to reduce this potentially large expense, if you do have an email address, please let me have it. Secondly, worship. I hope to post some video reflections and prayers on the themes I would have been preaching about each Sunday, and perhaps some live streamed worship. I'll post the links to these videos on the website and send via email. But if you're on Facebook, then the best way to be informed when these go live is to like or follow the St Andrew's Church Facebook page. The Methodist Church and others will be producing weekly resource sheets for worshipping at home, which I'll also make available online. And if people with internet access are able to print these off and deliver or post these to those without internet access, that will be really appreciated. Thirdly, pastoral care. Self-isolation and social distancing, and whatever measures come next, may mean that much of our pastoral care will need to take place in the form of pastoral phone calls. And even if face-to-face visits can be made, they should be arranged by phone and appropriate precautions taken. So if you can play your part in keeping in touch with others who may be feeling isolated, especially those who are not online, by phone, sending a card or a letter, or semaphore signals across the street, or shouting over the garden fence, or whatever works for you. Fourthly, practical help. I'm aware that many in our congregations are elderly, and some may struggle with practical things such as getting shopping or fetching prescriptions if they need to self-isolate. I'm also aware that the vast majority of our congregations are also over the age of 70, and therefore we don't have a vast army of volunteers to help in these circumstances. I also know that all sorts of kind people are organising things locally, and help is already being put in place in different ways through community support schemes, which some of you may already have volunteered for or benefited from. However, if there are people who are willing to offer practical help, or people that you're aware of that need practical help, who have no friends or family nearby, then I'm happy to be a contact person to try and make some links, as well as doing what I can myself, as long as I stay healthy. As I was thinking about the challenges of being church while isolated, I was reminded of the letter that the Apostle Paul wrote to the church in Philippi. Because we think he wrote this letter while he was under house arrest in Rome. Paul was isolated. And he talks about how he longs to meet with his church family face to face. And here's a couple of verses from that letter. I thank my God every time I remember you, constantly praying with joy in every one of my prayers for all of you, because of your sharing in the gospel from the first day until now. It is right for me to think this way about all of you, because you hold me in your heart. During these difficult days, let's hold one another in our hearts. And let's also pray with compassion, not just for each other, but for all those who are struggling the most because of the effects of this pandemic. So may the Lord grant us the grace and the courage that we need for these testing times. May we also be patient with those we come into contact with. Nobody's had to face a situation like this before, and people in all walks of life are trying their best in difficult and rapidly changing circumstances. So let's try and show them something of the patience, grace, and kindness of Christ. And may the peace of God, which passes all understanding, guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. God bless you, and I'll be in touch again soon.